You know, sometimes when you're in the garage and you're just kind of hanging out, trying to look for something to do, it's sort of fun just to rummage around through a bunch of the old stuff that's left over from things you were working on. One of the things that I'm kind of proud of is my junk rack here, I guess you'd call it. Started off as kind of a fastener rack. I have different kinds of fasteners. I have them all labeled, screws and washers and nuts, and then it got into all kinds of other stuff. But I try to keep it somewhat organized. And then sometimes it's fun just to kind of go through there and see what's there, remember all the things that you fixed, and then maybe try to come up with something. If you're really getting serious, the thing you want to turn to is the junk drawer. Every do-it-yourselfer should have a junk drawer, and I have everything in here, the remnants of everything I've ever worked on. I try to keep everything. I have some other boxes and things like that, but aside from the yellow bin rack and this drawer, I can fix just about anything. Some of the things that are kind of funny, this is a tape cleaning, a cassette tape cleaning. Or is it the one that you can plug in? Put this in your cassette tape, and I think you could plug in, and it was kind of like you could play your iPod with it. Never opened. Huh. Cool. Sitting around and I'm thinking back about when I was young, and my formative years, when I would hang out with my friends. One of the fun things that we used to do was make pipes. And of course the pipes were made to smoke tobacco. And you know, and we were all of legal age, and we bought everything legally. And so I was thinking back how much fun that was. Just guys would come up with the most crazy things. I worked in a gas station in high school, and we used to just have all these kind of different pieces that we put together just to make a pipe to smoke tobacco. And I thought, why don't I do that here? So I got out some of the stuff that I thought we may use, and so I thought I would just kind of start trying and see if I can. So I pulled out some of the bins that I think that we're going to need, and this is just kind of different metal clips. I'm not sure what we would need there, brackets and things. These are the brackets from the curtain project that we did. And then got to get a little bit of soda here. And then I have like all these different pipes and things like this. I might be able to use that. I don't know, that. Ooh, kind of valves, different tubes, and then I don't know, nuts or something. Because basically what you have in a pipe is you have kind of several components. You have to have a mouthpiece on here. I don't know, some mouthpiece or something. The body. Now this would have to have a cover here, which I might have in the junk drawer. And then you'd have to have something here with a screen on it in order to put your tobacco. And then you can, you know, obviously light it up and have your smoke. So that's kind of cool. It has sort of a chamber. It would be cool if we could have like a clear, like a plexiglass thing or a piece of glass there, and you could actually see the smoke curling up. To get a screen, I think the first thing I'll do is take this little piece of screen off and see if I can put it in somewhere. It's important that you get metal screen. It's good if you use something off of like this is like a head from a faucet, but it should be metal. This is probably stainless steel. Don't get like house screen like in your window. A lot of times those are made out of plastic and they're just going to melt, or other kind of plastic screens. It has to be metal. So let me see if I can get this out and see what we can do. Okay, so I got that piece out of there, and as you can see behind this, it has this is a foam piece. You definitely don't want this, because that's just going to catch on fire and burn, and you're going to suck that in, and that's not going to be good. Let's see if we can't. Okay, so I've got this little piece here with the screen in it, but it's surrounded by plastic, so that really can't be used for the screen for your tobacco. Oh wow, it just pops out of there. Cool. Okay. So we have that right there, and let's flatten that. So that's kind of the most important part of making any kind of tobacco pipe is your screen. So let's put that aside, and we can probably throw this out. Well, you know, that's probably still good. We'll keep that in the plastic and rubber bin. And then what you can do is just kind of like, nah, I don't want plastic. This is kind of cool for a mouthpiece, but again, plastic, that's kind of gross. Maybe we could do some kind of valve thing? Like a metering valve? I don't know. Let's see what else we can come up with. Ooh, mouthpiece. That kind of looks cool. Or mouthpiece. That looks better. I think that looks pretty neat. And, I wonder this thing. We could kind of put that piece of screen in there. Something like that. Maybe we could come up with something really cool. Or a nut, like putting it inside a nut. Something like that. Okay, I actually found a different little piece of screen, and I put it in this nut, and I put the nut on this fitting, and I just kind of poke down in there the screen to make sure it kind of sticks in there. Looks like it's going to stay in there nice. And then this valve can, it works this way. Looks like it's mostly metal parts. It might have a little bit of plastic, but I don't think the heat is going to be a problem. And that looks like a good place to start for a pipe. Okay, so this is kind of what I came up with. These items right here. So I think what I'll do is put this on here and I'll tighten it up. I'm not going to put any kind of Teflon tape. If it leaks a little bit of air around here, that's fine, because that sort of cools it down anyway, kind of like a carburetor. And then put this here, and then we will tighten this up, and that will be our pipe. Okay, so I tighten this up. I put this end in the vise, and I tighten this, and then those are pretty clean pipes, so I think that's it. That's one. Let's see if we can come up with something else. Okay, so I found this little piece of plexiglass that's from like a picture framing project, and it's actually, it just has blue covering on each side, but it's actually clear. And like I was saying, I think that would be cool if it was like, we could make like a clear cover for this. So let's work on that. Okay, so I drilled a couple of holes. What I did is I measured the distance between these two holes. I made one hole and then I did another. That I just started to cram the drill through with my drill press and I cracked it. So I had to kind of start over here. I'm leaving the blue plastic on till I'm all done so that I can take it off at the end. It'll be nice and pristine. Time to get some screws and find a couple that fit that thread pattern. So after a while of searching, I found two screws that kind of somewhat match. So I screwed it on and then I traced around here and then cleaned it up with the Dremel tool. Oh man. Then I just shine this piece up a little bit. I think that'll go like here. Right in here. So then I found this mouthpiece and put a nut and put that in. And I think that completes the one side of it. Now we just have to work on the bowl. So where we are right now is we have the mouthpiece, the tube, this. We have the cover, which we're going to peel off the coating before we put that on. That'll go on last. But now we need to work on, okay, so now we need to work on the bowl right here. We need to come up with something, some way to add this screen in there. So I had this is in here like this. Just a regular water valve that you might have under your sink. And so we take that off, and if we screw this in here and kind of tighten it up, and then maybe put this piece on here, and then put the screen inside there. We just need a way to hold down the screen. So my idea is to take and cut off a piece of this and make a little piece of it. All right, so let's tighten this down a little bit. And I'm thinking that this should be kind of like at a right angle, because this hole will be sort of like a carburetor. You can put your finger on that and kind of like carburate the intake. And I'll just kind of tighten that down a little bit. Not to be too tight. And then we have really everything. Okay, so I am gonna cut a little piece off there, leaving some of the threads. And hopefully this will work fine. I got my new little Sawzall here with the metal blade, and let's see how it does. Okay, so I have this little piece that I cut off, and I deburred it a little bit in the grinder. And so I think I'm gonna just thread it in here and just use this as a holder, and then maybe cut a slot in it so that I can use it to screw and unscrew. Sometimes there's just no substitute for old school tools. You know, you can try to use power everything, but sometimes it just, you know, an good old hacksaw works good. So that's my little, like a screw head so that I can screw it in and out. And let's put it in. Put this in there. And then I created this tool to kind of screw this in to hold the screen in place. And then this needs to be removable for like cleanup stuff. So we just screw this in kind of by hand, make sure that that screen is centered, and then kind of screw it. I don't really have a screwdriver that's this size, so I thought, why not just make my own little tool? Okay. Pretty tight. Keep that tool. And then you've got the screen captured in there, that's tight, and then that's removable. I think the next step is to put on the cover. Now let's just take the plastic wrap off of this cover and put it on, and I think we're done. So I'm hoping that this just kind of peels off. Oops, whoop, almost lost that. Okay, and time for the reveal. Whoa, oh, there's a little crack in there. I think that's probably okay. One little crack right there. Hopefully it doesn't go farther. But I think that might be cool right there. Let's try it. Doesn't have to be too tight. And it doesn't really have to seal that well either. A little bit of air goes in there, then that's fine. Wow. That's pretty cool. I like it. Oh, look at the piece of plastic in there. Well, I think that was a pretty fun project. Making something that out of kind of nothing but scrap. And I don't know, I doubt if I'll ever use it. I don't smoke, so never have and never will. Remember, people, smoking's bad for you. Don't smoke. But it was kind of fun making these. And maybe just kind of a shelf kind of curio cabinet thing just to set on there, and people say, what is that? And you can be like, hey, it's something I made. Anyway, the only thing that is left in my mind is, does this chamber really work? I'm trying to figure out a way that we can see if smoke goes in there. And let me think about something, and maybe I can come up with an idea. Okay, so here's my plan. I found this little rubber stopper. I kind of put that in there. That sort of plugs that. Kind of fits in there nicely. And then if I breathe in through here, it'll come in through the side draft, and hopefully we can see the swirling smoke in there. I don't know. Well, that was a pretty fun project. I'm not sure if you can see the smoke through the window. I'll have to check the video, but I'm sure if you were smoking something with a lot more smoke, it probably would look pretty good there. These were pretty fun, and thanks for watching Scott's Garage, and we'll see you next time.